An average of 20 new orders are started through a certain factory each month. On average, an order consists of 50 parts that are processed sequentially through 10 machines in the factory. The operation time per machine for each part is 15 minutes. The non-operation time per order at each machine averages 8 hours, and the required setup time per order is 4 hours. There are a total of 25 machines in the factory working in parallel. Each of the machine can be set up for any type of job processed in the plant. Only 80% of the machines are operational at any time. The plant operates 160 hours per month. However, the plant manager complains that a total of 100 overtime machine hours must be authorized each month in order to keep up with the production schedule. You have to determine what is the manufacturing lead time for an average order, what is the plant capacity on monthly basis, and why must the overtime be authorized. What is the utilization of the plant according to the definition given in the text, and determine the average level of work in process in the plant. So you all can once again read the problem statement for yourself and note down the given data correctly. This problem is similar to the previous problem, just this overtime thing has to be considered here. Otherwise, it's same as we have solved previously. We have to find work in process, utilization, manufacturing lead time. So quickly we'll finish off with this problem. Just note down the given data correctly. So this is the given data, some part of the given data. It said that there are 20 new orders each month and 50 parts per order. The Q is 50 parts per order. N naught is given as 10 machines. That is operating time TC is given as 15 minutes, that is 0.25 hours. And the non-operation time is 8 hours. Also, setup time is given as 4 hours. N is 25, that is the machines that are working in parallel. Availability of the machines is 80%. The product of SW into HSH is 160 hours per month. And 100 overtime machine hour must be authorized each month to keep up the production schedule. This is what has been given. We have to justify why this 100 overtime machine hour is required.
Please go to the previous slide. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So is the given data clear to all? Have you all noted this? Having known this, you please continue with the solution. First, you have to determine what is the manufacturing lead time, production capacity, and why must the overtime be authorized. What is utilization and work in process. So this problem is also with respect to batch production. So all the equations should be considered with respect to batch production. Shall I proceed?
One minute.
Okay. Okay. First, we have to find what is the manufacturing lead time. We have the equation for manufacturing lead time with respect to batch production. It is N naught into T setup plus Q into TC plus T N naught. We have all the values known, so it's simple substitution. What is the answer that you get here?
245, ma'am.
Unit. Is it correct? All are getting
Yes,
this?
ma'am.
Okay. So having found the manufacturing lead time, next you have to find what is the production capacity. We know the equation for production capacity as number of machines working in parallel and the number of machines that the part actually goes through. Both are given, so we are referring to this equation. Else, this denominator would not have been. Okay, so it's N into SW into HSH into RP. So we know what is N, we know what is N naught, we know the product of this. We do not know what is RP, so we have to find the hourly production rate. And we know it is given by 1 by TP, and TP is TB by Q. TB is T setup plus Q into TC for batch production.
.33.
TP you get 0.33 hours per piece. What is RP? It is 1 divided by TP or 60 divided by TP?
1 divided by TP.
It is going to be 1 divided by TP because we have already converted TC, which was in minutes, into hour. So 3 pieces per hour. Or you can round it up to 3 pieces per hour. All are getting this? Any difficulties in getting RP? Now find out what is the production capacity by substituting the values. N into SH into HSH into RP divided by N naught.
1212 piece per month.
1212 piece per month without considering the availability.
Yes, ma'am.
So in the yesterday's class also I told you whenever availability is given, see to it that you consider that in finding the production capacity. If it is not given, then we assume it to be 100%. But now in this case, as the availability is given, so let us consider that and find out what is the production capacity. What you get?
$969.6.
969.6 pieces per month, year, week,
Per month.
per month. So this is the production capacity with 80% availability. When you know this is the production capacity, why do you think an overtime of 100 hours will be required here? It is because the total parts that are actually launched per month is how much? It is 25 into 50, that is 1000 pieces per month. You have 20 orders every month and 25 orders every month. Every order is consisting of 50 parts.
I'm 20 orders.
Therefore, the total number of parts that will be launched, yes, it is 20 or 25. 1 second.
25 is the number of machines.
Answer is correct, but that orders is 20.
It is 20. Yes, so it's the product is 50, right? Sorry, 1000 parts per month. Answer is correct. Please make this correction here. It is 20 new orders into 50 parts per order. So the answer is 1000 parts per month are supposed to be produced. Whereas our plant capacity is how much? 969.7 pieces per month. Right. Therefore, the schedule will exceed the plant capacity by how much?
$30.3.
Yes, 30.3 pieces per month. The unit will be pieces per month. Now, in order to deal with this extra production, we require some overtime. So this requires an overtime. How do you calculate that? You know, these are the number of pieces to be produced, rate of production is known, and the machines through which it is going to be processed. So when you calculate this,
That
99.7, but actual parts to be produced is 1000. So there has to be some extra hours work that has to be done in order to cover up with the extra production. So in order to deal with this, you require an overtime, and if you calculate, you get that overtime to be 100. Therefore, it is justified that as per the plant manager, he says that there is this 100 overtime hours are required, machine hours are required. That point can be justified here. That is right. Yes, we require this 100 hours overtime in order to fulfill the demand. This is clear?
Ma'am, could you please take that to the question page, ma'am?
Question slide?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
So find the next utilization. So what is the utilization of the plant? It is given by Q divided by PC. We know what is PC, that is production capacity. It is 969.7. What is Q? 50 or 25 or 20, sorry, 20 or 50 or 20 into 50?
20 into
It will
50.
be the, yes. So it will be the total number of parts that are supposed to be produced. So you get utilization as 1.03. That is 103%. All are getting this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Proceeding to the last part, that is what is the work in process. We have this equation. Availability into utilization into production capacity into manufacturing lead time divided by SW into HSH. We know what is utilization, we know what is production capacity, manufacturing lead time, and this product is also known. We also know what is availability. Should we consider availability again? We have already considered availability when we calculated the production capacity. If you have already considered availability once, you need not take it again. So what is the work in process you get here?
1529.3.
Yes. Work in process is 1529.3 parts. I hope all are following these problems and all
Yes,
are
ma'am.
with me solving the problems. Shall we proceed to the next problem?
Ma'am, utility has crossed
Yes.
100%, so is it practically acceptable?
Utilization, yes, it is crossed 100% because you have this overtime taken into consideration, right? Had the overtime not come into play, then it could have been 100%.
Okay, okay.
The utilization, yes, of course, is more here because we have this overtime taken into account.
Okay,
Therefore,
ma'am.
it is crossing that 100%. And that
Yes,
is
ma'am.
acceptable.
Okay, okay. Got it.
Okay. Yes, we'll proceed.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
This is the last problem with respect to the manufacturing models. After this, we'll be starting with manufacturing cost and the related problems. This is the last one. 1 million units of a certain product are to be manufactured annually on dedicated production machines that run 24 hours per day, 5 days per year. If the cycle time of a machine to produce one part is 1 minute, how many of the dedicated machines will be required to keep up the demand? And no setup time will be lost. Also, you have to solve this part A, except that the availability is 90%. So this is given, you don't have to find manufacturing lead time, you don't have to find the other thing, simple problem wherein you just have to tell how many machines will be required in order to keep up the demand. One and the second part, you have to find the same with availability as 90%. So this is what is given. Have you noted down the given data?
Yes, ma'am.
1 million units of a certain products are to be manufactured. So Q is given as 10 lakh units per year. Machine runs for 20 days per week, 50 days per year. You have to find what are the number, what is the total workload. How do we get that parts into the operation time per product? That is TC. number of hours available per machine is how much? We have this data given. The machine operates for 24 hours per day, 5 days a week, and 50 weeks per year. So the machine actually works for 600 hours, sorry, 6,000 hours per year. Therefore, number of machines. Are you getting this answer? Yes? Are you answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So next part is to find the same, that is number of machines when availability is 90%. So what is the value of n now?
Three 3.08, ma'am.
Yes.
We have to take like 4 machines or 3 machines.
See, because here, if you consider the previous part, that is A part, you have already 3 machines. When the availability, basically what happens is whenever the availability goes on decreasing, the number of machines required will be more. So logically, if you think, here when the availability is 100%, you're requiring 3 machines. Okay. So here, if you round it up, there will be, in comparison, there will be no difference. So I have taken it as 4 machines because it's number of machines that is required. Okay, so it's better we round it up, and because availability is reducing, it is but obvious that the number of machines will be more. Therefore, I have taken it as 4 machines.
Okay, ma'am.
So till here, I think the things are clear, and we'll proceed with the next part of this unit, that is manufacturing part and the related equations and problems. Shall we proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's talk about manufacturing cost and why it is important for us to study this manufacturing cost. So what happens is whenever we have to make any decisions with respect to maybe choosing some alternate or manual type of production, whether you want to go for automated type of production. So whenever such decisions have to be made, cost is also one of the important parameters to be considered. Okay, and that's the reason we will be studying these different costs and the cost factors, how to determine the cost. Why we are studying is because whenever it comes to decision making, yes, knowing the cost of certain alternatives available is important. Okay, now how to find out those costs, we will study, and what are those different types of costs involved. So basically, this manufacturing cost, it can be categorized into these three. One is the fixed and variable cost of equipment usage. Now we will see in detail what are these three categories. So fixed and variable cost. So manufacturing cost, it can be classified into two major categories, that is the fixed and the variable cost. What is fixed cost? A fixed cost is one that remains constant for any level of production output. Now, what do I mean by this? Fixed cost is one which will not change with respect to your output. May the output be one part produced, may it be 1 million parts produced, but the fixed cost will not change. Some examples for this fixed cost include the building cost, the equipment cost, insurances, the taxes that we pay. All of these costs are fixed. You have to maybe insurances, your taxes, the building cost. If in that factory, if you're producing 100 units or if you're producing 1 lakh, the cost of the building is not going to change. Likewise goes with the equipment also. Suppose if you have a lathe, whether you are making 100 parts on it or 1 part, the cost of that are fixed costs. And all these fixed costs, basically, they are expressed as annual amounts. So the capital investments, such as maybe the building or the equipment, these costs, they can be basically converted to their equivalent uniform annual cost using the interest rate factors. And now what is this equivalent uniform annual cost? We will be studying it as and when we move ahead. For now, you just understand that manufacturing is divided into fixed and range with the level of production output. And what is variable cost? A variable cost is one that varies in proportion to the level of production output. As the output increases, the variable cost goes on increases. So examples for this variable cost are the direct labor, raw material, okay, and maybe the electric power that can also be taken into consideration. So basically, the variable cost, it is directly proportional to output. Now, how do I explain this variable cost here is, suppose if you consider the labor cost, it is a variable cost. You pay the labor based on the work that the person has performed. When it comes to raw material, the raw material cost will depend upon how much output you're going to produce. So the direct labor cost or the raw material or the power consumption cost, all of these things are going to depend upon the output that is produced. Okay, so fixed cost, one which does not depend on the output, and variable cost which depends on the output. So when this fixed and variable costs are added, we get the total cost equation, which is given by DC is equals to FC plus VC. That is, total cost is equals to fixed cost plus variable cost into the quantity. So here it is, where TC is total cost. As we are referring to a foreign author book, all the values are, the amount here is given in dollars. So dollars per year, you have fixed cost, that is fixed amount, fixed annual cost, variable cost, that is the cost per piece, and Q, it is the quantity. That is the annual quantity produced. So all of these costs that we are talking about, they have a time frame of a year. So it's all calculated annually. So this is just one diagram which shows how fixed and variable cost as a function of production output for manual and automated production methods. So basically this is a comparison of manual and automated method with respect to the cost and production quantity. So when you're comparing automated and manual production methods, it is typical that the fixed cost of the automated method is high relative to the manual method. If you consider this cost side, this lower line is going to indicate the manual method, and this line which is on top, it is going to indicate the automated method. Now, when we talk about the fixed cost, it is the cost with respect to your buildings, the cost with respect to the equipment. So when it comes to manual method, the initial investment that we do is comparatively less as to the automated method. So the fixed cost here is more, whereas for manual method it is less. When it comes to variable cost, it is the other way around. The variable cost will go on increasing with production quantity. As the quantity goes on increasing, the variable cost also will go on increasing. Whereas with respect to automated system, the variable cost will not be affected more when it comes to the production quantity. Yes, there is a slight increase, but not as much as you see in the manual method, because in manual method you have this direct labor, you have to pay for the labors. When it comes to automated, the labor cost and all is actually going to be reduced. So this is just a comparative study which has been shown here. So whenever the manual method, basically the manual method, it has a cost advantage whenever you're planning for a low quantity range of production. But you can go for automation. It has its advantages if you're considering a high quantity production method. Okay, so this is just to show how the fixed and the variable costs will change with respect to manual and the automated methods. So moving on to the next aspect of manufacturing cost, that is direct labor, material, and overhead. So fixed versus variable are not the only possible classification of cost in manufacturing. An alternative classification separates the costs into direct labor, material, and overheads. So whenever you want to make decisions based on cost, knowing only the fixed and variable cost is not sufficient. So you can still dig in detail and try to understand what is this direct labor, material, and the overhead costs. So what is direct labor cost? Direct labor cost is a sum of wages and benefits that are paid to the worker who operates the production equipment and performs the processing and assembly task. So it's very obvious, we must have already come across what is this direct labor cost in our previous semesters sometimes. So we know what is direct labor. It's very simple definition is given here. It is the sum of wages, the amount that you're going to pay to the worker for his work whenever he is performing any task, any production on the equipment, or if he is performing any of the assembly task. Okay, so amount that is paid to the labor is the direct labor cost. So what is material cost? It is the cost of all raw materials which are used to make the product. Now, this material cost, it is based on the company. We have different types of companies, different types of plants, companies requiring different types of raw materials, right? So suppose if you consider a rolling mill, which is going to make sheets of metals, the raw material may be required. One of the raw material required can be an iron ore. So this iron ore, it is going to be used in order to make the sheets. So basically, the raw material that we are going to use and the raw material cost, it depends upon the company. So the final products of one company can be the raw material of other company. For example, if you take the sheets itself, one company's final product is a sheet. You initially use a iron ore. You're going to draw the sheets out of it. Then these sheets will be used by some other company to do some other, to manufacture some other product. So the final product of one company can be the raw material for another company. Okay. So when it comes to, if you consider this in terms of fixed and variable cost, the direct labor and material cost are quantity, and therefore they can be classified as variable cost. This I have already taken as an example in the previous slide. Now let us understand what are these overheads. Overheads are nothing but the burdens that a company has. So overhead costs are all of the other expenses which are associated with running the manufacturing firm. So this overhead, it is basically divided into two categories. One is the factory overhead and the corporate overhead. Consists of the cost of operating the factory other than the direct labor and material such as factory expenses. What do I mean by factory expenses? So as I said, overheads are burdens to the factory, okay? Whereas if you consider the direct labor and material, they are something that has to be paid to the people. Without that, the things cannot be successfully obtained. Therefore, this factory overhead are nothing but the other factory expenses that are there. Like we have the maintenance crew with us who are not all time in function, but their role is important. Whenever there's a breakdown and maintenance is required, yes, you have to have them. Then there are these applicable taxes, health and air conditioning is to be done, light, the amount that you're going to pay for electricity. There will be some clerical supports that are required. So all these fall under this factory overhead expenses. Talking about the corporate overhead expenses, the corporate overhead cost, it is the cost not related to companies' manufacturing activities. Such as you have these corporate expenses, which are research and development is one, there is engineering service, you have sales and marketing, finance department, legal duty people who are required, right? So all of this comes under the corporate overhead cost. So before we proceed here, these corporate overhead costs that we're talking about, what happens is many companies, they basically operate more than one factory. So if you're taking example of Ashoka Iron Works, you know that there are a number of plants. We have around 3 to 4 Ashoka Iron plants in and around our college, okay, not in, around our college. So we know that there's plant number 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, but if you go and try to meet them, they're at office. So this is one company which has one corporate office, but number of factories. So it so happens that many companies are going to operate more than one factory, and this is one of the reasons for dividing the overhead into factories and corporate. So we have this Mr. J. Black, who has he provides us with some typical percentage of for this different types of manufacturing and corporate expenses. So if you consider this top part, okay, this is the selling price of a part. If you consider one product, the selling price of that product, suppose if we consider it as 100 rupees, in that 100 rupees, how the things are split up is shown here. The 40% of this total cost is actual manufacturing cost. 15% is related to engineering, fitting, etc. And there is around 15% of profit. This 40% of manufacturing cost, if you consider, it is then further split up here. 40% of manufacturing cost, 50% cost is associated with parts and the materials. Okay, and then there is 12% for direct labor, 26% for plant, machinery, depreciation, energy, etc. And 12% goes for this indirect labor. So this is just for your information how the breakdown of a cost of a manufactured product is. And this is basically given by Mr. J. Black. So now moving ahead with how these overhead costs can be allocated. So overhead costs can be allocated according to the number of different bases. You can make the allocations considering the direct labor cost or so on. But most commonly in industries, direct labor cost is what is considered. And we will see how these overheads are determined with the help of this direct labor cost. So the allocation procedure is as follows. For the most recent year, all costs are compiled and classified into 4 categories: direct, labor, material, factory overhead, and corporate overhead. The objective here is to determine an overhead rate, okay, which we also call as a burden rate, that could be used in the following year to allocate overhead cost to a process or a product as a function of direct labor cost associated with that process or product. In our treatment, separate overhead rates will be developed for a factory and corporate overhead. The factory overhead rate is calculated as the ratio of factory overhead expenses to direct labor expenses. So just understand one thing, whenever we want to find this factory overhead rate, this is the equation. We are finding out the factory overhead rate or the corporate overhead rate by taking direct labor cost as our, we are considering this direct labor cost. You can also change this with material cost, that's okay. But in most of the common practices, they consider the direct labor cost, and that is what we are following here. So here we know factory overhead rate, FOHR, it is the factory overhead rate. And this basically is expressed in percentage. Factory overhead rate or the corporate overhead rate. Then what is FOHC? It is the annual factory overhead cost. And then direct labor cost, that is annual direct labor cost. Likewise, we can determine the corporate overhead rate, which is the ratio of corporate overhead expenses to direct labor expenses. This is the equation, where COHR is corporate overhead rate, COHC is annual corporate overhead cost, and you have the direct labor cost. So here it is specified, both the rates are often expressed as percentage. So we will be finding FOHR and COHR, both will be expressed in percentage. So this is one of the solved problems. We will see how we can determine factory overhead rate and the corporate overhead rates. You can just note down this. This is the problem statement. This is a solved problem from the textbook. The problem statement is suppose that all the costs have been compiled for a certain manufacturing firm for last year. The summary is shown in the table below. The company operates 2 different manufacturing plants plus a corporate headquarter. Determine first the factory overhead rate for each plant, second the corporate overhead rate. These rates will be used by the firm to predict the following year's expenses. So this is the data given. This is the plant. All of you, just a minute. Okay, you need not write down this table because the solution is on this one slide itself. So this slide will this problem statement will be visible to you. So you need not write down this table again. We can straight away go for determining the first thing, that is what is the factory overhead rate for each plant. Yes, can you tell me what is the equation for factory overhead rate?
Manual cost divided by labor cost.
It is
Annual factory overhead cost divided by direct labor cost.
those who have not noted it down, can note it down here. Yeah, those who have not noted it down, please note down. Factory overhead rate is given by factory overhead cost divided by direct labor cost, and the corporate overhead rate is given by corporate overhead cost by direct labor cost. Please note this down, those who have not noted it. And those who have it already can proceed with the solution. First, a separate factory overhead rate must be determined for each plant. So for plant number 1, so whenever you are determining the factory overhead rate, it has to be done with respect to each plant. Whereas if you consider the corporate overhead rate, it will be for the whole company, irrespective of the number of plants it has. So first let us find what is the factory overhead rate for plant number 1. If you consider the data given here under plant number 1, you have the direct labor cost as 8 lakhs. And sorry, it is all given in dollars, okay. And then material cost, we are not considering. We are not solving the factory overhead rates by considering material cost. We are considering it with respect to direct labor cost. Next is we need to know what are the factory expenses. Here it is given as 20 lakhs. So only with respect to plant number 1, you have to know what is the direct labor cost. You should know what is the factory expenses or the factory overhead cost. So substituting 1, that is all are getting this? Find what is the factory overhead rate for plant 2.
Two 75%.
275%. Correct. Now find what is the corporate overhead rate of the company. So the corporate overhead rate, it is based on the total labor cost at both plants. So you have the corporate expenses here. It is with respect to the headquarter under which you have both these plants coming down. So corporate overhead expenses or the cost is 72 lakhs. This divided by the direct labor cost with respect to plant 1 and plant 2. So it should be 8 lakhs plus 4 lakhs. That will give you the corporate overhead rate. Understood? Simple problem. Moving on to the next problem. Shall we proceed?
Wait, ma'am.
Ma'am, last slide, please.
Last line.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next problem. This is an unsolved problem from the textbook. This is problem number 3.13 from the textbook. Unsolved problem. A simple problem, just as you have solved the previous problem. So costs have been compiled for a certain manufacturing plant for the most recent year. The summary is shown in the table below. The company operates two different manufacturing plants plus a corporate headquarter. Determine the factory overhead rate for each plant and the corporate overhead rate. The firm will use these rates in the following year. So this is the table. Just as you have solved the previous problem, you have to solve this also. So as the problem statement is there in the textbook, here is the solution. You can directly write down the answers and solve later. Because it's unsolved problem, write down the answers. You can solve them later. So this is the data given, and these are the answers. You can just note them down. You can try to solve it later.
Ma'am, previous slide.
Note down the answers, please. I hope you all have noted down.
No, ma'am, still good.
1 second now. Please note down this. Any doubts in understanding this problem? Very simple. This is one of the unsolved problems, just as the way we have solved the previous problem, we have to solve this. Only understand one thing: when it comes to corporate overhead rate, the direct labor cost has to be added with respect to the number of plants that are there. Now we have 2 plants, so we have added the direct labor cost of plant 1 and 2. If there are 3 plants, it will be 1, 2, 3, and so on. If there's only 1 plant, you have to take only for that 1 plant. Okay, so let's proceed to the next. Okay. So the last part of this manufacturing cost, it is the cost of equipment usage. I just missed the title here. The cost of equipment usage. Okay. So what happens is the trouble with these overhead rates is it is based only with the labor cost, or maybe it is based with the material cost. We do not take into consideration the equipment cost anywhere. Okay, because what happens with equipment, once the equipment is bought new, it has it is going to have a better value as compared to an equipment which is an older one. But when it comes to calculating these costs, if you are not considering the equipment cost, then the manufacturing cost that we are going to determine, it may not be very much accurate. It may not be measured accurately. And therefore, whenever it comes to calculating the manufacturing cost, it is important to consider the equipment cost as well. Okay, so to deal with this difficulty, it is appropriate to divide the cost of a worker who is running the machine into two components. One is the direct labor and the machine cost. So now we have these different work centers. What do we mean by work center? It can either be a combination of one machine with one worker, or it can be several machines with just one worker, or it can be several workers working on one machine, or it can be a work center which has many number of machines and many number of workers working. Okay, so in any of these cases, it is advantageous to separate the labor expenses from the machine expenses in estimating the total production cost. So the direct labor cost, it consists of wages and the benefits that are paid to operate the work center. So applicable factory overhead expenses allotted to the direct labor cost might include what? State taxes, certain other benefits, etc. So the machine annual cost. Okay, so now till now we have determined what is this fixed cost, which is annual, variable cost. Then we saw what is direct labor cost, what are these different types of expenses that are associated, but we have not come across the machine cost. So here, the machine annual cost is the initial cost of the machine apportioned over the life of the asset at the appropriate rate of return that is used by the firm. This is done using the capital recovery factor. As now basically what we are trying to do here is we are going to get some machine annual cost. So how do we get that? We will see. So before we try to know what is the equation for the capital recovery factor, this is one equation which is going to help us determine what is the equivalent uniform annual cost, that is UAC. This is given by IC, that is the initial cost of that particular machine, into the capital recovery factor. Here is the capital recovery factor in bracket, it is given here. So this is a capital recovery factor that converts the initial cost at year 0 into a series of equivalent uniform annual year-end values, where I is the annual interest rate and N is the number of years of service of that equipment. So please note down this equation. UAC, that is the equivalent uniform annual cost. Uniform annual cost UAC is given by IC, that is initial cost, into the capital recovery factor. For a given value of I and N, we can compute the capital recovery factor by using this equation. Please note this down. This is a very important equation.
Yes. It's a Khalid sir, please. Qualification. It sounds serious.
So you will come across this capital recovery factor. In order to determine this capital recovery factor, usually the rate of interest and the number of years of service of the equipment will be given. Okay. With the help of that, you can find out what is the capital recovery factor. Else, you can also refer to the interest table and you can find the same. I think you must have already used these interest tables in engineering economics or such subjects. Have you all?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No. Okay, fine. But anyways, this is just for your information that you can get this capital recovery factor by referring to the interest tables. But anytime in exam, we never provide these interest tables because we have an alternate method of finding this value. Okay. We anyways know the equation to find out the same. So we do not provide these interest tables or they are not even usually required for the same. It is just for your information. Okay. So I hope you all have noted down this. I'll proceed to the next slide. So now the total cost, okay, before that, the uniform annual cost, that is UAC, it can be expressed as an hourly rate. Okay, it can be expressed as an hourly rate by dividing the annual cost by the number of annual hours the equipment is in use. So this point is very important because when we start solving the problems, we will come across this particular statement that I just read. I'll repeat again. The uniform annual cost, it can be expressed as an hourly rate by dividing the annual cost, that is the uniform annual cost, by the number of annual hours the equipment is in use. So the total cost rate for the work center is the sum of labor and machine cost. This is summarized as follows for a work center consisting of one worker and one machine. So this equation is yet another equation which will help you to get what is the total cost for a work center. It is the sum of the labor cost and the machine cost. Labor cost and machine cost. Where we have C0 is hourly rate to operate the work center. It is in dollars per hour. CL is the direct labor wages, dollars per hour. Factory overhead rate of labor here. It is CM is machine hourly rate. And FOHR, it is FOHRM, it is factory overhead rate applicable to the machine. Okay, so one thing you need to know here is in this we are only considering the factory overhead rates. Okay, we are not the corporate overhead expenses should not be included whenever
Ma'am,
have
your
the
voice is cracking.
analysis
Still
done in
you
order to compare the production methods. Suppose if you're comparing some production methods, then you need not include the corporate
Excuse me, ma'am.
overhead.
Ma'am. Yes,
Yes.
you're not audible, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
Your voice is cracking. You're not completely audible.
Okay, am I audible now?
Your voice is cracking, ma'am.
Okay, now
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, it is clear now.
am I audible clearly? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes.
if you observe this equation, C naught equation, yeah, if you observe the C naught equation, you will see that we have only considered the factory overhead rates in order to calculate the total cost rate, right? Or the hourly rate to operate the work center. We are not considering the corporate overhead rate here. Why? Because corporate overhead rate here, whenever you want to analyze the different production methods, you need not include corporate overhead rate. Including corporate overhead rate is not going to serve any purpose. Okay, it will just go on increasing the cost of alternatives. But you can, of course, in decisions with respect to sales and marketing department involved. There's a lot of research and development, and all of it. There is this comparison with respect to different production methods. You can only limit yourself to factory overhead rates only. Okay. So I just hope you all have noted down these three equations. What is the equation for UAC? What is the equation for the capital recovery factor? And the equation for hourly rate to operate the work center. So we will quickly move to the next slide, which is a solved problem from the textbook. This is the data. The following data are given for a work center consisting of one worker and one machine. Direct labor rate $10 per hour. Applicable factory overhead rate on labor 60%. Capital investment in machine, it is $1 lakh. Service life of the machine is 8 years. Rate of return is 20%. Salvage value in 8 years is 0. And applicable factory overhead rate on machine is 50%. The work center will be operated one 8-hour shift, 250 days per year. Determine the appropriate hourly rate for the work center. So this is the problem statement. You can read it once again and write down the data that is given. So from this problem statement, we can determine this given data. Please ignore this. I have written this as CL. It should be DL. Sorry, it's correct. Labor cost. It's correct. It is $10 on labor, 60%. Capital investment in machine, that is IC, it is $1 lakh. Service life of that machine is 8 years and rate of return is 20. You can ignore it. It is just an additional data which we are not using anywhere. Factory overhead rate for the machine, it is given as 50%. And it is said that the work center, it will be operated it operates as 1 8-hour 250 days per year. You have to determine the appropriate hourly rate for the work center. I hope all of you have noted down the given data. So now let us proceed and find out what is the appropriate hourly rate for work center. So what is the equation to find out this appropriate hourly rate for work center? Somebody tell me. The faster you will respond, the sooner we can finish the class, else it will take another 10-15 minutes. So we know the hourly rate to operate the work center. It is given by this equation. Z naught is equals to CL into 1 plus factory overhead rate of on labor plus CM into 1 plus factory overhead rate on machine. Now, if you observe the given data, I hope you all have written down all the given data. Can I get a reply from one of you? Are you all with me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So here you need to find what is the hourly rate to operate the work center, that is C naught. Do we know what is CL? Yes, from the problem statement we can know that CL has been given. It is some 10 or yeah, it is $10 per hour. Okay, we know what is factory overhead rate on labor. It is also given. It is 60%. Do we know what is CM? Do we know what is the cost of machine? CM value is not given. And we know what is factory overhead rate of machine. It is given as
50%.
50%. Yeah, but we do not know what is CM. So
Yes,
first we'll have to find this. So let us just proceed in steps. Initially, we will just find what is the labor cost per hour. Okay, that labor cost is this part. Likewise, we will have to find what is the machine cost per hour. It is this other half part. So initially, we know all the data. So we'll just go on substituting and let us get the value for labor cost per hour. It will be $16 per hour. So now, in order to get this part, the right side part, let us first compute the annual recovery factor. You have to find what is the uniform annual cost. Annual cost divided by the number of hours it actually works, the machine works, can give you the machine cost per hour. So in order to get that, first let us start with finding what is the annual recovery factor. So we have this equation for annual recovery factor, where we know what is the value of I and N. I is 20% and N is 8 years. So simple substitution should give you the value of the annual recovery factor. So what is the answer?
Ma'am, 0.26.
0.2606. All are getting this?
Yes,
Are we
ma'am.
converting this to percentage? No, we don't have to
Yes,
get
ma'am.
this into. No, you don't have to take it into percentage. Now, find out what is the uniform annual cost, that is UAC, where the initial cost is given as $1 lakh. We have this equation to find out what is the uniform annual cost. Simple substitution. What is UAC? Is this what you're getting?
Yes, ma'am.
It is
Yes, ma'am.
26,006. Yeah, per year. Now this has to be divided by the number of hours the machine is actually operating. That data is also specified in the problem statement. It has 8 hours shift. For 250 days in a year. So number of hours per year the work center operates. It is how much?
2000.
It is
2000.
8 hours per day into 250 days per year. So you get it as 2000 hours per year. Now you have to divide this UAC that you've got, uniform annual cost, by the number of years the machine is working. That will give you the value of CM. So by dividing UAC by number of hours per year, we get the value of CM, that is $13 per hour. So this is the machine cost. We have the labor cost or the labor rate is already given, that is $10 per hour. And now we have found out what is the machine cost or the machine rate. So the machine cost per hour will be, if you want, you separately calculate them and then add, or you can altogether put it in the final equation and just get the solution. So this is the final equation that we have, C naught. I have added the sum of Cl into 1 plus FOHRL and Cm into 1 plus FOHRm. I've separately found their values and I've just added them to get the final answer. So you get $35.55 per hour. This is the cost in order to operate the work center. All are getting this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is a solved problem from the textbook, and this is an unsolved problem from the textbook. This is problem number 3.14. Same like we have solved the previous problem, you have to solve this. So I'm just showing you the solution. You can just note down the answers and solve it yourself later. If I wait for you all to complete, it will take another 10-15 minutes and you have your lab, I suppose, after this. So I'll just read the problem statement. I'll show you the solution, write down only the answers and solve the problem later. So this is problem number 3.14 from the textbook, unsolved problem. The hourly rate for a certain work center is to be determined based on the following data. The direct labor rate is $15 per hour. Applicable factory overhead rate on labor is 35%. Capital investment in machine is $2 lakh. Service life of the machine is 5 years. Rate of return is 15%. Salvage value in 5 years, 0. And the applicable factory overhead rate on machine is 40%. The work center will be operated. Here you have to just read it carefully. The work center will have to operate 2 8-hour shifts. So how many shifts in a day? It is going to be 8 into 2. So 16
into 250.
hours per shift, right? In a day. In a day, they have 2 8-hour shifts. For 250 days per year, determine the appropriate hourly rate of the work center. In the previous problem that we have solved, it was just 1 8-hour shift. So you did 8 into 250. But now here, it will be 2 into 8 into 250. It will be different. Okay, so this is the given data. You already have same data that was given in the previous problem. Same is given here also. Only little change is this 2 8-hour shift. So you have the CL value 35% as the factory overhead rate for on labor. You have the initial cost. N is given, I is given, factory overhead rate for machine is 40%. Work center operates 2 8-hour shifts per day, 250 days a year. You have to determine what is the hourly rate for work center. So I'll just proceed. I'll show you the solution. You have to proceed in the same way. First, we write this equation. Again, we'll notice that we do not know the value of the machine cost. So first we'll have to find this. So in order to find that, we first can find out what is the capital recovery factor. We know it is I into 1 plus I to the power of n, 1 plus I to the power of n minus 1. Substituting all the values, you get the capital recovery factor as 0.2983. Now by using this, you can find what is the uniform annual cost. You know what is IC? It is $2 lakh, 20 lakh into the capital recovery factor. You will get what is UAC. You can just note down the answers here. Anyways, I'll be sharing this presentation, so you can watch that later. And also, if possible, I will share, or Vinayak sir will share all these notes that I have already written and I have presented here. I will be sharing the notes with anyways all the faculties also. So the same will be shared with you in the form of a PDF, and also the videos are anyways available for you. And you have to refer to the textbook. So once you find what is UAC, you find what is the number of hours per year the work center will operate. So as I said, it is 2 8-hour shifts, right? So it will be 16 hours per day the machine is operating. Like that, it is operating for 250 days in a year. So it is 4,000 hours a year. Now you have to divide UAC by the number of hours to get what is CM value. That is the machine cost. To get it as $14.92. So as you have got the missing data, you go for a simple substitution in C0 equation. A clear substitution will give you this answer. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Last problem, it's very simple. This is again problem number
Time up, ma'am.
3.15.
Lunch break.
And time up,
Yeah,
ma'am.
one.
Ma'am, next class, ma'am.
Time up, ma'am. Next class, ma'am.
Okay, listen. I'm not asking you all to note down anything. Just I'll read this because I'm closing this unit now. I'm going to start with the next unit on Monday. I'll just read this. This is just simple. So in the previous problem, if the workload for the cell can only justify on one shift operation, determine the appropriate hourly rate. In the previous problem where you have taken 2 8-hour shifts, here you only have to take 1 8-hour shift and solve the problem. That's it. So you already have UAC value. Instead of 4,000, it will become 2,000 in the denominator. You substitute and get the answer. So important here is you should know how many shifts it is operating. 1 shift, 2 shifts, 3 shifts. Based on that, the denominator value should be chosen carefully. Okay. So this completes your unit 1 of computer integrated manufacturing subject. The next Monday, I'm going to start with the second unit. Okay, so any doubts in this, if you all have, you all can message me personally.
Ma'am,
Okay,
please send this PDF, ma'am.
Pardon me, please send this, what?
PDF, ma'am, PPT. PPT.
Yeah, maybe today evening or by tomorrow latest it will be uploaded.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, fine.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.